Welcome to Two-Stroke Diagnostics. This lesson we will demonstrate a positive 3-point spark test. All lessons are taken from the Advanced Sequential Troubleshooting worksheet provided at the service schools. This lesson will cover Section L positive 3-point spark test. We will demonstrate a 4 mm blue-violet spark at cranking speed. We will demonstrate a 6 mm violet spark at cranking speed. We will show a 4 mm and 6 mm spark with the engine running. Symptoms: hard to start, lacks power, poor acceleration, runs erratic. Sound familiar? These are shared symptoms with a carburetor. Most technicians would automatically go to the carburetor expecting it to be the cause of these kinds of symptoms. Before you go and tear down the carburetor and rebuild it just to find it runs the same, take the time it takes to do a 3-point spark test correctly, and you may save the aggravation of rebuilding a carburetor for nothing. Ignition test. Notice how this is set up. This is our 3-point spark tester. From our coil to our tester, from our tester to our installed spark plug. Grounding this device to any other ground will be an automatic no-go. Adjustment on this device is simple. Take your thimble and screw it down until the points touch. Each revolution of the thimble counterclockwise is 1 mm. Here's a picture of our device. There are our 3 points. Notice this one is set at right about 6 mm. Here's the unit right out of the box. See our 3-point sparks. Here's the cord that goes to our spark plug to our tester. Here you see I have mine installed, but I've also made a change on this end of it. Let's make it a little bigger so we can see it. I went and got a regular spark plug spring out of inventory and this boot to put on mine. With this clamp, when you're trying to start it and jerking the machine around, it will flop around and actually come disconnected. It's much better to go this way, but it will be your option. To make a spark jump a 1 mm gap through the atmosphere takes about 1,000 volts. That value is additive. 1 mm equal 1,000 volts, 2 mm equal 2,000 volts, and so on. Attaching the spark tester to any ground other than an installed good spark plug will be a no-go for testing purposes. Remember, it only takes 1,000 volts to jump 1 mm gap through the air. That same 1,000 volts will not jump the 1 mm gap under compression. In a moderate compression engine of 6.1 to 7 compression ratio, it takes about 8,000 volts to jump a 1 mm gap. 1,000 volts will not start the engine. The hotter an engine gets, the more voltage it takes to jump that 1 mm gap. Here's a sample of a properly installed 3-point spark tester. Notice we are grounded to an installed spark plug. To generate that spark, we have to get the engine RPM up to 1,000 to 1,200 revolutions. That means we have to pull on the recoil pretty good, which also means the engine is going to be shaking all over the place. It is best to have one person pull the recoil while another reads the spark. The color of spark we're looking for is going to be blue, white, or violet. If it's orange, yellow, or red, it's bad. You have an issue with your ignition system. Here we have our setup. We're grounded to our spark plug, and we've got our meter set to 4 mm, and that's what we're looking for, a 4 mm spark. This is what it's look like when you're just pulling on it. See it jump around? This one's tied down too. Takes about 12,000 volts under compression for this to happen. This video was done with the unit solid mounted. As you saw, we still had movement. The spark must be blue, white, or violet in color. Any red, yellow, or orange indicates a weak spark. We had a good spark. This spark can be hard to see under well-lit conditions. Take the time to be sure there is no spark if you think there's no spark. With the unit moving all over the place, one person should crank the unit and one person should read the spark. We will now move on to the 6 mm spark test. Next, we're set up for 6 mils, and notice in the little short video it is set to 6 mils. Here's our little short video, and there it is set to 6 mils, and notice the spark's also bigger, and this is checking our reserve voltage, or about 14,000 volts. This is a proper color spark at 4 mm. See, it's nice violet, set for 4. This is a video with 6 mm. Again, a nice blue, white, and violet at 6 mm. What if the unit fails the 3-point spark test? Inspect spark plug, replace as necessary. Retest engine. If all the above are not good, proceed to ignition tests. Section M. Check spark plug condition, which we did. Check stop switch, check cap connector, check the common ground. We've already did a video that covered this and this. Confirm the air gap. Check flywheel key for mounting flats. A flywheel key that is sheared will give you the correct color of spark and will do it at the gap. It just won't do it at the right time. During this little video, I'm going to show you different types of testers. Using any of these on our test, our hands-on test will be a no-go. This is the light. Everybody's probably got one of those in their toolbox or seen them used or had one at one point. Got a light lit. Okay, now we're going to do this type of open gap spark tester. This one is corroded, and you'll even see it affects the spark that's trying to come through it. It's got so much corrosion on it. It's been in my toolbox a long time. See, the spark is yellowish. Let me zoom in here a little bit. You'll see some yellowish spark there. See it? That's not a good feature for checking spark. This concludes 3-point spark testing. Please view our other 2-stroke diagnostics videos.